Okay, we are now going to be working on our what is our ecological footprint guided notes. Please follow along. Pause the video if you have to. Slow it down. Rewatch it whenever you need to. Okay, so what's our ecological footprint? The number of humans on the Earth is 8 billion at this point, or over 8 billion. It's not just the number of human on Earth that caused the problem, but it's the way that we consume those resources that's the problem. We also need to consider how much of the resources are used per person. So not every single person on the planet has the same impact on the environment. As a matter of fact, Americans have a much greater impact on the environment than people in China per person, simply because of the way that we consume resources. Although China might have a larger population, per person, they're using less resources than people in America are, simply because we most of our population uses cell phones, computers. The same cannot be said for the entire population of China. Basically, the ecological footprint is the measure of the demands by one person on the natural resources or group on global natural resources. It includes all the materials and the resources consumed and all the resources to dispose of the waste that we produce. So what do we throw away? This map here shows the comparison of ecological footprints for every single country. Okay, so if you can see, the United States has a very high impact, as does Canada, as does most of Europe, and China. However, places like most of Africa, parts of South America and Central America, other parts of Asia, and the Pacific Islands do not have as much of a human impact. They're generally the ecological footprint is generally used to refer to all humans. All organisms have some sort of ecological footprint. So let's talk about the tragedy of the commons. That was the happy fishing lab that we just completed. So basically, when a shared common or resource, right, like land, water, fish, livestock, um, all the natural resources, oil, coal, natural gas, if that's unregulated, individuals will consume it at a very selfish rate. Think back to the pandemic. The very beginning of the pandemic, nobody could find toilet paper. Nobody could find um, cleaning supplies because we just assumed that there was going to be none of it. So whenever it was there, people were just taking it at a very selfish rate. That's the tragedy of the commons. In order to sustainably use our resources, we need to have some sort of individual responsibility, some sort of plan, and cooperation amongst people in our community, in our town, or we should have some sort of government regulations in order to make sure that we are not consuming that at a rate that is unsustainable. For example, many stores put into place that you can only buy two um, things of antiseptic wipes at any given time in order for cleaning supplies, or two things of toilet paper at any given time. That was a regulation that was put in place by the grocery stores so that there was plenty for everybody. Summary. We Natural resources, we consume them, and we also produce waste just by throwing things away. That contributes to your ecological footprint. The more you consume, the more you throw away, the bigger your ecological footprint. If this consumption rate is unchecked, it leads to tragedy of the commons, which is when we use our natural resources too quickly. Currently, we are using oil, coal, and natural gas at such an unsustainable rate that we can consider that the tragedy of the commons. Thank you very much.